Hey guys, my name is Vito, glad you could join another Confusion video. In the last video I was showing how I recorded a piece of cloth to use it to create fire. Now these kind of effects are called practical effects. So today in this video I want to show you how I treat that footage inside of Fusion to create, well, some sort of interesting fire effect. Now this fire won't win an award, but it's certainly interesting to see how far you can get by simply using a piece of cloth. Okay, but enough talking, let's just start right away. So I have loaded my footage already in here, as you can see here. And well, these are the three that I like the most. But for this example today, I thought I'm going to show you this one. This is my very favorite one. Very nice one. You can see it moves like really nice. And I have to apologize at this point. I should have used the iron to get rid of those, wrinkles, because they really look like artifacts. Yeah, it's experience, but it was my first practical effect, so forgive me. Okay, so obviously the first thing we want to do is we want to crop this. We want to get only the area that we're actually going to use, and for that I use a simple mask that I hook into the mask of the loader. Okay, great. So and next we're going to crop this using a crop, and I just simply choose auto crop, view it, and bang. If you view the alpha is still very solid, and to change this we simply use a boolean and we set the alpha to red. If I display the alpha now, you can see this is our alpha. Okay, so this is good. Now at this point, I think if you want to save performance or memory, I would advise you to render this out as a sequence, because here with this one we are carrying all the frames and all this stuff with us, the whole range. It's 4.6K. Was it 4.6K? Well, 3K. Yeah, well, but it would certainly reduce the memory usage if you would write this down. One more thing I want to say is that this footage was shot with a Blackmagic Ursa 4.6K, which was kindly lent to me by Blackmagic. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, only the body. I had to take care of everything else. And I'm not quite sure what to do to convert this to linear. I think, but I'm not sure. I think I would have to use this log, Cineon log, here, and then I set this to, not this one, Blackmagic Film 4.6, and this should be it. I'm not sure. That's why I just deleted. But for this example, we actually don't need to care about this. We actually don't need to worry about this. What we can do is use a simple brightness contrast. Let me bring it here maybe. And I reduce the gamma and increase the contrast, clip the blacks of course. And maybe the gain, the saturation, something like this. Let's compare again with this Linto log. That got me really curious now. Cineon log, what's it called? Cineon log. I'm gonna do another one. Blackmagic. For fire, actually this looks pretty good. I mean, usually this is converted to linear, but you would still have to apply a lookup table to display it in the way it should look, right? But I found that it just looks awesome already as it is, so I don't want to add the lookup table. Technically, probably it doesn't make any sense, but for me it's always like if it looks right, then this compared to this, well, let's see what we can do here. Maybe increase the gain, but the curve is just different here. The curve used here is just different than with this. I mean, we can maybe get close. We can maybe get a little close. Well, it doesn't really make a difference. So you know what? I'm just gonna skip this for now, and I'm gonna go with this one. But make sure you clip the blacks, otherwise you will get problems. Now once done with this thing, we would already go ahead and merge this on top of our background. Now what you see here is this dude here, this bad devil. And I'm gonna merge this on top. It's already set to screen. And if you don't clip the blacks, I wanna show you, you will get some very strange stuff here. So we clip it. So the next thing I want to do is I want to actually place this fire on top of his head, make him look like he's very angry. And the way we do that is using a transform right here. And I'm also using my very favorite grid warp tool. Now the problem now, what I want to show you, the problem is, let's reduce this to 3 points. If I would merge this image with a different with a different resolution on top of this image with a different resolution, we'll run into this problem here. Let me just do an extreme example. I bring this all the way down, and you see what happens here? It gets clipped because the domain of the flames is just smaller than the domain of the final image. So that's why I always advise, most of the times, to get this background has already the right resolution, to merge your smaller image on top of a empty background. This is totally empty now. And voila, the flames are now on the same domain, on the same resolution that our character is. It means now we can grid warp the heck out of this thing and we won't get any cuts. Just make sure that the flames are completely in here, something like this. Okay, so now let's place this thing on our head. For that I use the transform. I uncheck the use size aspect and I just place it so it looks like. So another cool thing about the grid warp is that if I would go in here and rotate, let's say we want to make a fire Santa Claus like this. If I select the grid warp, it aligns the grid to the same transformation, which gives you, which is much nicer if you want to do some posing. Some people find it maybe a little bit odd that you have so much grid above the flames and below the flames. And if you don't like that, what you can do is simply go to the source tab and choose edit rectangle and just resize this a little bit down here. And again, edit grid. And now we set the grid size to 4 again. I chose 4. And important, you need to copy the source grid to the destination. And we do the changes in the destination. Okay, so let's realign this. A quick tip here, you don't have to exactly press on the cross on the center here in the middle. You can simply press Alt and then anywhere on your canvas, on your screen or in your viewer, you can just click and it will move beautifully. I really like this. So, and now with our flames in place, we simply do some changes. We want to match this a little bit to the shape of the head. And here I want to pinch this a little bit in. Pinch it. Pinch it. Wow, it's already pretty good. Not much to do here. Let's see how this looks in the animation. Already good. Now, if you find this flame, for example, here that goes down his forehead, disturbing, let's see if we can move it up. Something like this, maybe. Okay, and another cool detail I want to show you is the vortex tool. Now, the vortex tool, I like to place it on top, on the very top of the flame tip, if you like. And I want to sort of give the impression that there's some turbulence going on here. Something like this, maybe. Could invert this, see how it looks on the other side, and maybe something like this. Maybe not. Okay. And there you go. We already have some cool looking flames. Of course, we would add a soft glow, not a slow glow, soft glow, and bang, make this thing pop. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, but let's say now we want to scatter flames around his head. Let's say the left ear, for example. Now that's very easy to do. And we don't have to go in here and create the same thing one more time. We can simply copy this whole thing down here. And now we add a
time speed.
And the reason why we do that is because the time speed allows us to create a delay here. And if I say, let me view it first. If I say -5, you can see it gets delayed. -8. And like that, we can create all kinds of variations by using only one footage. That's why it's important to take maybe 30 seconds, maybe even more of the same footage, because then you can just use this very same footage to create all your variations. Again, it merges this. Again, we put this in the right domain. And now the grid warp might still be okay. Let's see, let's turn off the vortex for a moment. And so, how are we gonna go about and combine all those flames? I mean, at the moment I have just 2 flames, but let's say we have like hundreds of flames, because if we wanna cover his whole body, his whole silhouette, and the mouth and the brow, the eyebrows, you know, if we wanna create all kinds of fires around him, then we would end up having like 50 flames or something. So creating 50 merges, let me see, 50 of these merges is just, you know, it's just not so cool. What is much cooler is a couple of weeks ago, I stumbled over a fuse called Multi-Merge by the great Mr. Brian Ray, and this fuse is just awesome for these kind of things, and I want to show it to you. So multi-verse. Multi-merge here. Okay, and so I hooked this into the multi-merge just like a ordinary merge. View it, and actually this soft glow goes after it. Sorry. And now I can simply hook this into the multi-merge as well. At the moment it's just like a merge, right? But let's take a look at the user interface. You can see this is just like the ordinary merge, and here at the bottom it says the background, and here the input, the foreground. Well, in our case there is no foreground because we're gonna use multiple inputs. That's probably why he called it input. So we used one input. Now what happens if we would just hook in another footage or input? Not here, here. Bang. If I select the multi-merge now, bang, input 2. And you can see input 3 is already waiting for you. Now this can go on forever. I think, I'm not sure, it didn't say anything in the limitations. It's probably endless. At some point it might crash though, but I don't know. But this is so beautiful. I mean, this is so beautiful. We save a lot of chaos in here, you know. Oh my god, I find this so amazing. Thank you, Brian Ray. This is just so cool. Okay, so, and the soft glow goes into the merge, and bang. I'm gonna get rid of this. So now let's place, you know, too excited here. Back on track after my espresso. So I moved this flame towards the ear, or to the ear, and I'm gonna rotate this so it kind of matches. And I'm gonna scale this down. And you see what I said before. When you scale it down, you just get these nice details in there. It's beautiful. Okay, and as for the grid warp, well, it's already good, I guess. Maybe match it a little bit to the ear, something like this. Look at this, how nicely you can match this. I mean, it's moving anyway, but something like this. Perhaps bring it a little up, and Shift S can smooth the curves a little bit. And again here, a vortex. It's up there at the moment. Let's see how it moves at the moment. Yeah, we might want to bring this down a little bit here. Something like this, maybe. Okay, great. And again, the vortex. Now I move it down and I place it about here, and I invert this again, the angle, because I want to move this a little bit. Yeah, make it sort of look like ears. There you go. So this vortex, if used wisely at the right spot, you know, then it really can enhance the look of this thing. Yeah, okay, that looks great. So let's say we want to have the same on the right ear, very exactly the same. We just copy this whole thing, paste it down here, and this time in the time speed, again, minus maybe 15, just to create variation. And we hook this into the multiverse. I like to call this multiverse. It's like a whole new universe is opening up for us. Okay, and we move this over, and I'm gonna use flip horizontally. Let's rotate the angle, and this time we rotate it over here. Actually, let's see what we get with a little bit more variance here. Something like this. And the vortex over here again. This time, remove the minus and make it look like a solar flare action in his ear. Hey. Now it looks very similar to the... It looks very similar to the left ear. Well, not this one, the vortex. Maybe a little bit higher and... beautiful. Really looks like solar flare action going on here. Okay, so this is basically it. This is how you can go and just do the whole character. And I think within 1 hour you will be done. So as a bonus, I want to show you one more thing. Because I also created particles. Okay, and the way they look, let me just activate the merge here. Here they are. Solar flare action number 2. Now what I like about those particles is the streak effect that it gives you, and it really looks like it's coming out of this character. Really like, especially here in the teeth area and the eyes. Looks a little creepy. And I want to show you how I actually created this, because it's not so straightforward. Yeah, so okay, so the particles that I created look somewhat like something like this, and you're like, whoa, what's going on there, Vito? Yeah, well, yeah, so that's how the particles look, but that doesn't mean that they actually do look like this. I mean, if I click the normalize button, you can see that they actually look kind of interesting. So you already have these streaks, and that's a good base. The next thing I did was, of course, I brought down the gain, and then I blurred this thing, and now comes, unfortunately, a plugin. Now this plugin is the Real Smart Motion Blur, and it allows you to create a motion blur, good looking motion blur, just very easily. I mean, it's just one click. It even allows you to create motion blur without a vector motion pass. Of course, it uses motion vectors to achieve that, but I'm impressed how quick it works. I mean, it's really fast. Now, it won't give you 100% good results, especially when you have overlapping objects. Let's say one object moves to the right while the other one crosses when moving to the left. So at the point where they cross, it will sometimes, or in most cases, create problems. Yet still, for these kind of projects, this is beautiful. It's really fast, quick, and if you don't have a motion vector pass, then what can you do? Unfortunately, it costs a little bit, but it's totally worth it. Okay, so I apply the motion blur, and you can see now we get even better streaks, but still a little bit dirty here. Then I went in and played around with the brightness contrast again, and now it comes. Now what did the final trick actually was the frame average tool. The frame average tool is also can be a really powerful, or sort of almost like a magical tool in some cases, despite being so simple. Now what it does is basically you just define how many frames you want to average, and you can choose the sample direction. In my case, I use forward and backwards, and what that will do is this. Now we get rid of all those dots, and you know, because it just looks at the frame after and they look before in the frame before, and it will average them. So it's sort of like a, I don't know, that's not a motion blur, but it kind of goes into that. I have to be very careful, because if some technical guy listens to this, he will be like, "What are you talking about? This is not a motion blur." Yeah, I know it's not a motion blur, but it's kind of like that, you know. Okay, I stop it. It's not a motion blur. It just smears this whole thing. No, it's amazing. However, the frame average is very, very slow. You should know that. It's very slow, and it's probably a good idea to do breakouts there. And after that, I use a soft glow. There. And that's basically it. Very nice streaks. Okay, guys, this is basically it. For me, it was a very nice experience. I mean, I think I could not have achieved this look with the Fusion, with the inbuilt Fusion tools, with the noise or whatever. You can probably say there's no way you can achieve this with Fusion standard tools. I mean, this cloth setup, it was really not a big deal, and you don't need a professional camera for that. I think a normal photo camera that can shoot video is totally fine. It doesn't have to be log or whatever. Probably the most important would be to have 60 frames per second, so you can slow it down. So again, this does not win an award, and is probably also not so good for using it with real footage, maybe far in the background. But for game graphics or other stuff, you know, that can look somehow stylized or whatever, this is just beautiful. And with that said, I'm gonna go downstairs and have my second espresso because I'm so excited. I'm gonna calm myself down. Okay guys, my name is Vito. I'll see you soon. Until then, enjoy what you're doing. Yay!